Hi class. Leslie Ann, Marco, and myself will be presenting critical theory this week. We'll start our presentation by opening with some brief bios of three first-generation critical theorists that we have chosen to present in further detail throughout our presentation. I will start with Herbert Marcuse, who was born in July 19, 1899 to a well-to-do family. Marcuse was a German-American philosopher, sociologist, and political theorist associated with the Frankfurt School of Critical Theory. He served in World War I, but not in combat. During World War II, he worked as the U.S. Office of Strategic Services, analyzing intelligence reports about Germany. In 1952, Herbert began a university teaching career as a political theorist. His critiques of capital society resonated with the concerns of the leftist student movement of Germany and France in the 1960s. In his written works, he criticized capitalism, modern technology, historical materialism, and the entertainment culture, arguing that they represent new forms of social control. Because of his willingness to engage seriously and support student protesters, Herbert soon became known as the father of the New Left, a term that he disliked and rejected. He has been regarded as the most influential of the Frankfurt School critical theorists on North American culture due to his studies on student and counter-control movements of the 1960s. Max Horkheimer. Born in Germany in 1895, Horkheimer was pulled from school at the age of 15 to work with his father's textile business. In 1999, he began his studies at the University of Munich, but transferred to attend the University of Frankfurt, where he studied philosophy and psychology. Horkheimer then obtained his doctorate in philosophy. He then went on to accept a position at Frankfurt. The most important moments of Horkheimer's early academic career would come in 1930. In July, he was appointed professor of social philosophy at Frankfurt, and in October made the director of the Institute of Social Research. His most important work includes The Eclipse of Reason, and with Theodor Adorno, and The Dialectic of Entitlement. With focus on Western philosophy, his question was why and how the terror of the Nazi mass murders arose from modernity. He explained the process and the reason of why and how the Enlightenment brought about suppression of individuals, culture poverty, and barbarism. He was coined culture industry. Next, I'll talk about Theodor Adorno. He was a sociologist, philosopher, and musicologist. Adorno was born in Frankfurt, Germany in 1903, and his mother was a professional singer and his father was a wine exporter. Adorno attended Johann Wolfgang Goethe University in Frankfurt and studied philosophy, psychology, and sociology. In 1928, Adorno took a position as an editor of a musical journal. Upon receiving a lecture position in philosophy at the Institute of Social Research, known as the Frankfurt School, Adorno changed from prioritizing on musical activities to developing a philosophical theory of aesthetics. During his time at the Institute of Social Research, at the time Horkheimer was the director of the institution, Adorno gave his lecture, The Actuality of Philosophy. In 1934, Adorno left Germany to escape the Nazi persecution of the Jews. He moved to the University of Oxford for 3 years and then went to work at Princeton. During his time in the United States, Adorno would write the important works The Dialectic of Entitlement, which was in work with Max Horkheimer. In 1949, Adorno returned to Germany to accept a position in the philosophy department of the Frankfurt School. He would then go on to be the institute director in 1958. We will be discussing the work of Herbert Marcuse, Max Horkheimer, and Theodor Adorno in greater detail throughout our class presentation. Thank you for listening.